comme je te dis, j'avais.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello,
Tim just...
hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hi. Tim just messaged me that it's going to be he's having some technical difficulties, so he should be in a couple of minutes.
Okay, Emerson, tell us some stories, man.
I'm just the host.
Oh, have Gay tell us some stories. Have Guy tell us some stories.
We're actually live streaming right now.
Oh, sorry, man.
No worries.
I'll turn my thing off.
Welcome, everyone. I don't see Tim yet, but we're going to get started soon. Welcome to Non-Duality.Live's back-to-back Non-Duality. We have Tim Cliss first, and then we have Suzanne Yang, and we're just waiting for Tim. Welcome everyone to back-to-back non-duality. We have Tim Cliss for an hour, and then we have Suzanne Yang for an hour. Just a reminder that Tim is going to be doing an online event. If you would like more information about that, you can go to www.timclissthis.com. Hey Tim. There's some technical difficulties that's happening. If you have any questions, you can ask a question via chat. You can also ask a question on YouTube, and I can read it for you. You can also raise your hand while Tim is getting started here. And if you can unmute yourself, Tim. Oh, I can't hear you.
Is there anything else I can get wrong? No, I just couldn't get Zoom to load. I need to invest in some new equipment. Thanks, Emerson, and thanks for inviting me to speak. I didn't think I was going to make it at one point. Probably the most contentious thing spoken about at these kind of meetings is love. There's been a reluctance here to speak about love at all. And yet that's all that's really ever being spoken about. But it can sound as though I was speaking about something that I know what it is, and I'm speaking about or that there's been spoken about a love that you could have. But really all we're ever trying to communicate, anyone who speaks about this, is the difference between being me and the seeming absence of being me. And you could say just being, but none of the words are accurate. Words can never speak of this, because they're always divisive, they're always dividing. That's what words do. And of course, the other thing that words always do is they say that I know a word and I know what it means. And so I know, and of course, words make things into things. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that is the veil, really. You could say that the seeming knowing, because I know what I'm talking about, I've got the language, I know what that is, and I know this from that. When I speak about love, or if I say the word love, it really does mean not knowing. Love isn't knowable. The best word I've got for it is obvious. And it's, the other word might be undeniable. But I don't know what it is. It's but there seems to be such an obvious love. You could say a love of life, loving life, being, loving being, but none of that means anything, but the love is undeniable. This love that you've heard spoken of, and you think, well, I don't know that. I don't know that love. I don't know this love that I've heard spoken of, and I really want to know. Well, there's the rub. You can't know it. It simply is. And when I'm speaking of love, I really mean that it's the absence of the desire, the need, the insistence, the demanding that life be any way other than it is. Now that can sound like acceptance or surrender. I don't mean that at all. There can be resistance, that's love. There can be anything, any appearance. But there is something amazingly beautiful and an obvious love. If there is, especially in regards to this human being. Without the demand that I improve, I at least do something to eradicate some of my faults. I make myself worthy. I do good deeds. The end of that, or simply it just not appearing, really, it's not an end of anything. There is no end. The non-appearance of that demand that I made upon this poor human being to improve, to be more worthy, to be more loving. That's the love that I'm speaking of. And in that, the absence of demanding that I improve, I become different from how I am because I'm not good enough, then there is no demand on any other. Everyone is beautifully imperfect. And in that, there is perfection. The end of knowing the difference between perfection and imperfection, that feels like love. Don't get me wrong, I'm not speaking about loving everything. I'm not speaking about loving myself. I'm not speaking about loving you. Just love. It may just be obvious that there isn't anything better or worse. This could not be, there's no possibility. One of the weirdest things is that the impossibility of this possibly being different, that's love. And this couldn't be different than it is. Simply because it is. As it is. There isn't a time when this will be better. There wasn't a time when this was better. This is always simply as it is. It's really no news. I mean, the good news is no news at all. This isn't a revelation. This isn't some great insight. This isn't an awakening. There's no one to wake up. This is wide awake. This isn't liberation. This is already completely free. It's only I that puts constraints, puts boundaries, separates, categorizes, does everything that creates division. There is no division until I say so. There is no separation until I say so. Well, thank you for waiting for me to arrive. And if you've got any questions or you want to share anything, then either put it in the chat or put your hand up. And
I'll get to you. I'll get to you, Eric. Thank you, Tim. I have a question here in the chat, which is kind of like what you were talking about. Hi, Tim. I just had a bad breakup with my girlfriend. I said something I shouldn't have. I know this message can't help the me. Please, if you can say something about breakups and triggered reactions. Thank you.
No, I can't really say anything about that other than it feels how it feels. I mean, yeah, breakup, loss is inevitable because there is already, you already have nothing. So the whole illusion that you have a relationship, that somebody, really what relationship usually means to self is that she belongs to me, he belongs to me, he's part of me. Self claims another human being as part of themselves. It's probably the biggest cause of misery of all, maybe, that claiming of another as part of myself. So inevitably, that will, while there is that sense of they belong to me, when that is seemingly lost, it's going to be incredibly painful for me. Can't not be. If I feel I've lost a part of myself, it's going to hurt like hell. Sorry, I can't give you any words of comfort. I don't know, really. I mean, I really don't, the compassion here, it feels compassionate not to give any solutions to the sadness of loss. That also feels like love. It may not sound like it, though. The sadness and grief that's felt in the loss of a beloved is the most intense expression of love there is, I think. You know. And it's not to be feared. What self does is terrified of feeling, if I fully feel the sadness, if I fully feel the loss, then it could destroy me. The tears will never end. That's the story self often tells itself, and is terrified of sadness. There's nothing to fear. But is this insistent, which I think is a relatively recent invention, this a very Western idea that you should always be happy and sadness is wrong. It's a crime. It's one of the great crimes against humanity, that sadness is a failing in some way. And of course, when relationships break up, the phrase for that is failed relationship. Just to emphasize the point that you could have done better and you wonder why you feel shit. The truth is, of course, all relationships end, don't they? There are no successful relationships. If you've made success continues for eternity. I mean, no pressure. I wonder why so many couples feel so pressured. Yeah. If it becomes obvious that everything is lost, there is nothing to be kept. There is nothing to be held on to. That is freedom and love that I'm speaking of, that there is nothing to hold on to. This is all grasping, all possession, especially the possession of another human being as mine. There's no greater illusion than that. And the cause of immense suffering. There's so much what we would call, anguish in that. Well, I had quite a lot to say about that, it seems.
Eric, go ahead, please.
Hi, Eric. You need to unmute yourself, Eric. Or not, it's fine. It's unmute is down at your bottom left-hand corner of your screen, Eric. And oh, if you're on your phone, I'm not sure where it is. Oh,
There's a question here. Oh, just a moment here. That's weird.
I'm just trying to unmute Eric,
Yeah, that's what I'm doing too.
but it won't let me.
It's not allowing me to. I click
No.
it. Okay. All right. Let me just see what I can do. Ask to unmute. Can someone try to unmute? Anyone? See if it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazon Ads is still on.
Yeah. So it must be yours, Eric. Sorry about that. So yeah, I can't unmute you because there's something might be off with your Zoom. You can ask a question by typing it if you like.
Yeah, do that, Eric, if you can't unmute.
Eric goes, I also recently got out of a relationship and into a new one. Goes, I'm not doing any of it. I have a couple of questions here from YouTube.
Sorry, what was Eric's question again?
Oh, he's just based. Oh, so here, sorry, there's another one here. I did not see that. So relationships arise and fall away spontaneously?
Yeah. Oh, is that Eric's question?
That's right. Yeah.
Well, there are no relationships. Not really. Oh, that's a relief. Surely, Eric, that's what you want to hear. So, and of course, the idea of making a mistake. So, I really messed up in my last relationship, you know, and there's so much I could learn from it. And this time I'm going to get it right. I mean, talk about pressure. I mean, it's almost, just even saying that, it feels unbearable. That, you know, I've invested everything in this relationship and I must make it work, whatever that means. And of course, what you think a working relationship looks like and what your partner thinks a working relationship looks like could be a million miles apart. So good luck with any of that. I mean, it's just, life isn't a job, and relationships aren't, you know, it isn't your responsibility to make it work. There's no one to have that responsibility. That's the whole illusion. That you, what you've called yourself, the human being that you call yourself, could be any way other than it seems to be. That it, how it acts, thinks, feels, loves, argues, prefers, believes, all of it. And as soon as you're into, which self is very into, the mistakes you've made and how you're going to put them right, it's a recipe for for great suffering. You're making yourself wrong. That's what self does most of the time. I do like, I do like to congratulate myself when I get it right, but it's so fucking rare that I hardly ever get the joy. Mostly it's endless criticism, especially in relationships. And to compound my self-criticism, of course, I'm getting plenty from a partner as well. Oh, no wonder why I'm miserable. But I'm pretending I'm happy because I'm in a working relationship, and I can't be miserable. We're both trying really hard to make it work.
Hey, Tim, can you hear me now?
Oh, hi, Eric.
Yeah, I had to switch off of my phone to my computer. Sorry about that, but it's great to talk to you.
Have I answered your question?
Well, I guess so. I haven't really asked it, but essentially, I just wanted to say that I have kind of taken a step back from non-duality and sort of lost interest in the question. And what happened instead was—
Good luck with that, Eric.
Yeah, thank you. But what I'm curious about is, they say chop wood, carry water, before and after. And it just feels like no matter what I'm experiencing, happy emotions or difficult emotions, there's no need to alter or run away from it, even though there might be the impulse. And I also don't have to fight against the impulse. So I can watch myself, distract myself with entertainment, and that's just what it is. It's not wrong. I don't have to force myself to feel all my emotions so deeply or whatever. I guess I'm just thinking about this notion of the non-doership and effort. Like, oh, do I put effort into my meditation, or do I just never meditate because I don't particularly care for it? And it doesn't particularly matter. Yuji Krishnamurti said that the sound of birds chirping in our talk is essentially the same sounds. And so that's kind of how I feel about it now. It's all just gobbledygook. No, there's no question or answer that can make a real connection or inspire any change. So I don't know, that's just kind of what I've been sitting on since you started talking. Thank you again.
Oh, thanks, Eric. No, it's no, there's nothing, whether you meditate or you distract yourself from meditating by, watching football. One's not higher than the other. There's nothing better or worse. It's not. That's all for me, being more whatever I've decided I could be: holy, spiritual, wise.
Question here. There is nothing to get, so I will never be happy?
Well, you will never be anything. There's two reasons why you would never be anything. One is that there's no you to be anything. And the other reason is that there's no future where you will be. There is no will be. There is nothing to will be. Will be is the illusion. Could be is the illusion. Might be is the illusion. Possibly is the illusion. It's all that, that's where self lives. Happiness, right? The whole illusion is that I can make myself happy. I could create happiness. I mean, what? The arrogance of self is astounding. You've never made yourself happy. Happiness appears spontaneously, unknowably, out of nowhere, from nowhere. It's just out of nothing, is nothing. And there's happiness, just the same as sadness appears. Have you not ever felt great sadness and then in an instant it's just passed and there's this wonderful peace and bliss and joy, and you go, well, where's the sadness? Well, it never was. It just appears and disappears. There's no knowing. This whole illusion that I can control what I call my life is the whole illusion. There's no one in charge. There's no one doing life. There's no one has a life. It's even a bit much to say there is life. Right? That's even a stretch. But this whole, if the sense of I can do something to make myself happier, to make happiness more common, to be happier in a future. Really, all it's confirming is that I am not happy. And by happy, what self really takes that to be usually is there's something wrong because I'm not happy. I'm doing something wrong. I'm wrong. I'm faulty. There's something wrong with me. Even the most self-confident selves that you've met, you've met people who appear to be always happy, always confident. You may have got to know them a little better if you've got to know them really well. And it turns out that it was almost completely a front. It was facade. It was pretense. And that there's nothing more painful. Maybe there's things more painful, but it's incredibly painful to live a life of pretense, pretending. And really what me is pretending. The pretending I know, the pretending I'm in control. So I know what I'm doing. I know who I am. Well, I'm suggesting you don't. But what self does is convince itself that I do, that I am the doer, the knower, the manager. There's no knowing. But self is terrified of not knowing. The ground that me stand on, that I stand on, is the ground of I know who I am, so I know who you are. I know what that is. I know what's going on. Because I'm terrified. I mean, most human beings with what I'd say is a solid sense of I am, the greatest fear is not knowing what's going on. Self screams like a baby of the insecurity of not knowing. When if the pretense is shown to be a pretense, but there's nothing to fear because everything is exactly as it is anyway. There's nothing to fear from the fear. But self is very afraid of fear because, of course, it takes fear to be, I'm in mortal danger.
Mm.
Go ahead, Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, Dan. For years, I wondered what love, this thing we call love, is this deeply intuited unicity, artesian warmth we feel for, I suppose, for sentience, for particularly for human beings. The thought came that love evolved along with objectification, that life as a human being would just be just too hard without love. Life is hard. Everyone is beaten up and tormented by life. It's hard. But love seems to be the counterbalance for that. And that life as a human being, without this warmth, this whatever it is, it's certainly not a word, but it is this deeply felt unicity with others, even though we are, by definition, separated. We are alone in our unique world.
Yeah.
But to grok that, to approach that even, the counterbalance is this love we feel for others. I feel that we don't exist without each other, that as imaginary entities, that we are holographic phantoms dancing in this imaginary light between. And love seems to be just another highly evolved mechanism. And I don't mean to depersonalize it, but I suppose that's what it is. It's a depersonalization of love. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, it's lovely what you say. I mean, it's not how I would say it at all, but it's lovely when you say it.
Oh.
It really is. No, because I don't even, you talk about it as evolutionary and like as though an explanation for it. I guess what seems to have happened here is that there's no thinking, there's no thoughts about making sense of it. There you go. I mean, which sounds really paradoxical because I love speaking about it, and trying to explain it. But it's the most obvious thing about this, about love especially, is that there's no explanation. It's not understandable. It's not, so there's no thoughts about how or why, or that it may counterbalance the anguish and the pain of life. I guess I just don't see any of that, because even the pain is seen as love here. So the way when I'm speaking about love is that there could not be an exception. Even the cruelty, the cruelness of life, even that, and that's the hardest thing. That's why I think that's why it's seemingly taken a long time for me to speak about it at all, because it sounds the antithesis of love, that there must be an opposite to it. Well, it feels like there isn't an opposite.
I look at the picture of you and your son, a little hand reaching up to the chin.
Oh, yeah.
Feeling of that soft little hand. I had a son and remember that so well. This heart rush we get from each other. It just doesn't need an explanation.
No.
Like, we want explanations, I suppose, but doesn't need it. Thanks, Tim.
No, yeah, and it can be the love is most obvious in, especially with children. You know, it's the most. Yeah, I'm very spoiled to have him. Yeah, really. He's just an absolute joy.
And it gets better.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you, Tim.
Yeah, I love you too.
Thank you, Michael. I have a couple of questions on YouTube, and I'll get to Jade and Ghislaine. YouTube question here. Is awareness a part of this message?
No.
Next question. Do you want to add to that?
No, not really.
Okay.
It could. I mean, I understand that people use awareness, but I don't know what it means, so I don't speak about it. I haven't got a clue. What on earth does that mean? I don't even know. The only thing I know about awareness is self-awareness. I'm aware of myself being aware. And all I can say is that if something died, that's what died. And then there was this, and then the emptiness, which some people call as pure awareness. Fuck, what that? So the emptiness, which is so palpable in the absence of me filling the void. I filled the void with my self-awareness of myself. I was always aware of myself, being self-aware and self-conscious, consciousness full of self-consciousness. And in the absence of it, there was just, I couldn't even, I mean, I didn't start speaking about this because it was just so empty. Now, it may be that when people speak about awareness, they're talking about that. I don't know. I won't speak in that way because for me, awareness is always was something for me.
Jade, please go ahead.
Thank you, Amazon. Hello, Tim. Nice to meet you. To see you.
Jay?
Yes. So from what I heard from your video about the like and dislike, not mine. So any thought, any discomfort of encountering another individual, they are all not mine. So is that the case to just ignore it all? Just to ignore because they are not mine.
Sorry, say your question again. I wasn't sure what you asked me.
My question is it to ignore all of these because they are not mine?
No. You've got as much chance of ignoring them as you have of managing them or embracing them or anything else. Feelings just appear. That's it. This message has no.
I have no idea.
Sorry, go on.
Yes, I have no idea how to deal with them, and I have no interest to engage with all these thoughts or this dislike of people. So I don't know what to do with them. But
Well,
I
you
mean,
don't,
it comes and go, and
you don't have to do anything with them, Jane. I mean, I could say let them be, but then that's just something else for you to do, to let them be. But, you know, you can't even do that. Feelings, what you do or don't do about or with feelings is equally out of your control. There's no one to do anything with them or to not do anything with them. Feelings are just as they are. But as I said earlier, I mean, feeling that what self says is, I don't like this feeling is wrong, this feeling shouldn't be happening. So then self goes about doing what it can to rid itself of the feelings that it doesn't want. And really all it's doing is exacerbating the feeling because it's constantly confirming it by acting upon it, or by saying that it shouldn't be, because really, no, there's no feelings that are wrong. And what self does when there's difficult feelings, I mean, as soon as I say this shouldn't be happening, I shouldn't be feeling like this, I need to do something about it, I'm just, whilst working on the feelings, the feeling, I mean, again, there's no one to do or not to do anything with the feelings, but if there is acting upon them, all I'm doing is seemingly is maintaining them, is perpetuating them, because I'm working on them. And by working on them, I'm making them wrong. There is no one to work on feelings. Feelings, you know, they're just, they're just as they are. There's nothing wrong with them, especially the ones that we really dislike. I mean, I've spoken about this already, but especially sadness. You know, sadness is taken by self to indicate that something is amiss, something is wrong. Whereas it's the most natural human emotion of all. Everything is always being lost. Everything. I mean, there are no things to be lost, but in the appearance of life, everything is always being lost. The illusion is that is the continuation of things. That's the illusion. And the greatest illusion of all, or the root of all of that, is me. I am the illusion of continuation. I was here yesterday, I'm here today, and I want to be here tomorrow, but I want to be happier than today. So I need to work on that. There's nothing and no one to work on. That's really what I mean by love.
So, yeah, so this continuation just drop by itself.
Well, it certainly can't drop by your efforts. That's for sure. How and I can't give any recipe for the falling away of self. Because really it doesn't fall away. There's never a self to fall away. I mean that's the biggest kick in the teeth for seekers, really. It's the worst, the most cruel joke of all of this. And the joke is not, and it is a joke, and it is cruel when you've been a diligent seeker, that there really was nothing to seek. Because really you were seeking nothing. And of course, this is always already nothing. being everything. Everything is empty. And you're seeking the peace of emptiness when it's all there ever is.
Yeah. Yes, I've got nothing to take away.
Thanks, Jay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a couple more questions here from YouTube. Does unicity know unicity? That's from Yoshi Yoshi.
No. There'd be two unicities for that one. That would be quite funny. Okay, so unicity over there recognizes unicity over here. Yeah. No, that is, I mean, language just doesn't work for speaking about unicity, does it? Because unicity is saying that there's, and I don't use the word unicity or oneness. I think we're blaming Michael for bringing that up today, because because the whole unicity thing suggests that there's one big thing, you know. Oneness is well, for me, the whole notion and the whole unicity, oneness, it smacks too much of God for my liking, I have to say, because it suggests that there is some whole oneness that could be recognized, that could be found. And what I want to say, and for me this is the compassion, is that there's nothing to find. It's the fact that there is nothing to find. Now that is the liberation. The end, and by the end I mean completely the absolute end of the search. There could be nothing to see. There can be nothing to seek if nothing is already. There isn't more nothing to come. You know, it's not that, well, you know, I had a glimpse of nothing and then I lost it and then there was everything again. No, everything is nothing. And although this communication, this way of speaking, this message can sound lacking in compassion to selves, it's absolutely compassionate.
Well, thank you so much, Tim. Thank you so much. Well, hang on there, Ghislaine, and we're going to have another speaker coming up. Tim, you have something coming up this weekend?
Yeah, so if you'd like to, it's not too late to register for the online retreat this weekend. All the details are on my website, timclissthis.com. If you don't want to come for both days and you would just like to come for one day, or even if you'd only like to come, say you'd like to come for the evening sessions, just email me through the website. And also, if you find the cost, because there is a set cost for the whole weekend, if you find that it's too expensive, then again, just email me and we'll come to some agreement on how much you can pay, what you feel you're able to pay. Thanks very much for joining. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, Tim. You can unmute yourself. We're going to have Suzanne right after Tim. And thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Emerson. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Love you.
Love you, Tim.
Love you, Tim.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Tim.
team.
It was lovely. Bye.
Thank you, Tim. I love that. Um,
Thank you, Emerson.
oh, thank you. Hello, Suzanne. How are you doing?
Hi,
How
Emerson.
are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm really good. If you have any questions, you can ask Suzanne by raising your raise hand function. You can also type. We're live streaming on YouTube and on Facebook. We're live streaming on Nothing Media and Non-Duality.live. Welcome, Suzanne.
Thanks. I'm so excited. There's nothing exciting. So this is about complete unknowing. This is about nothing appearing as everything at the same time. And there's no time. This is inescapable. There's no one here or there that can become closer to this or get further away. This is totally inescapable. This is full-on chaotic perfection. And it's always been the case. There was never anyone who was lost. There's no one here who can find anything. The sense of a separate me is this. The sense of a separate self that wants to wake up is this. So no one gets liberated because there's just liberation. There's just home. This is home. So if anyone has any questions, I'd love to answer them.
There's a bunch of questions here from YouTube. Can non-duality be communicated without words? That's from Yoshi.
Sure. I mean, I guess words are empty. It's kind of like a social agreement. So it has relative meaning, but it's empty and meaningless too. So probably the best way would be to say nothing. Probably the best expression would be to say nothing. But there's just joy here to express anyways, to try to express the unexplainable, the unknowable.
Jade.
Hi, Jade.
Hello, Suzanne. I like listening to your videos.
Oh, thanks.
Yes. And at this point, I know I cannot get anything, so, and I don't really have that many questions. I'm never into religious, so, and it's just whatever's happening. And even talking to you is just what's happening. It's not really driven by anything. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
isn't
you
that
very much.
amazing? This is nothing
Yeah,
happening.
it doesn't matter what I see. I mean, I still cannot see nothing, but it's just happening.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing is talking.
Yeah.
Nobody is
Thank you.
talking to nobody.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jade.
Thank you. I just lost. Thank you.
Question here. There's a lot of questions here. Is there still stress, shame, and fear when the sense of separation is gone? That's from Tasca from YouTube.
Stress, yes. For nobody, stress arises for sure. It's not nothing stressing. Shame. I mean, I guess anything can arise. I haven't experienced shame yet. What was the last one?
The sense of okay, let me repeat it. Sorry. Stress, shame, and fear when the sense of separation is gone.
Fear.
Fear.
Yeah, fear for sure. Of course. Yeah. This is still a living organism, apparently, appearing as one, nothing appearing as this human form. So it can feel fear. It can run. It can it can feel threatened. This is nothing feeling threatened. Yeah.
Question here from YouTube. Um, what is above consciousness?
There's no above consciousness. What's being spoken about is all encompassing. So it's wholeness. It's inclusive of everything. So you can have an idea of higher consciousness, but that's part of the dream, which is this. It's could be a fun concept that the me really enjoys. Nothing right or wrong with it. You can feel like you have higher consciousness as a person, but it's a bit of imagination. It's like the me can believe that it has maybe reached a state of higher consciousness. But that's just this. So, yeah.
Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Hi. Could you say that unknowing is a subtle form of knowing? That we're just not going to get around this or through or transcend this, whatever it is, by using words, that we are confined to and defined by this conceptual overlay. And anything we come up with is part of the dream. But even that's a subtle form of thinking we know something about it, as if it is a thing in itself.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind
And
of a
it's
problem.
yeah,
I'm
it's so
sorry.
intriguing for the me to yeah, think of all of these ideas and feel like it's getting somewhere, like it's knowing something. And it'll keep trying that. And there's no problem with it. And yeah, this is total unknowing. The root of knowing is I, the me. I exist. And then everything seems that it can be like layered on top of that. So any idea or knowing is on top of that. But that's just this.
Can anything be said about this from within this? When our attempt to say something is part of this.
What?
Can anything be said about this from within this when our attempt to do that is part of this?
Was that a question?
Yeah, yes. I think it is. Oh my. I love what you say. I think
That's just this.
it's pristine and clear and wonderful.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you before, and your company is delightful. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Lovely to talk to you.
Oh, lovely.
Question here from Saeed. Does the belief that there is someone here remain?
The belief, I guess a thought can arise, like I'm doing this. That can arise, but it has nothing to stick to. So yeah, when the me sense drops, which it doesn't really happen. Nothing really happens, but everything still arises. So any thought that you might have had like before this apparent happening that never happens, any emotion, yeah, everything arises. There can still be I'm walking, like that thought, but there's no one here believing it. It just doesn't stick. It doesn't stick to anything. Yeah, it's kind of the same. It's kind of really, really ordinary, but really extraordinary because everything seems to somewhat arise. It was the same as before, but yeah, now nothing sticks to anything. There's no center here. So it's all just miraculously happening. I mean, it was miraculously happening before, but something was taking ownership of it and claiming everything. So there can be a heaviness to that. But that's just this.
Question here from YouTube from Nothing Media. What would you say a relationship would look like after a parent awakening? That's from Learn How to Sing in Tune.
Like an intimate relationship, like a partner?
I think that's could be the question, yeah?
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, it's probably the same, but I don't think there would be any neediness. At least from here. Maybe there could be expectations if the me sense is still there in another seeming apparent individual. But from here, when if the me sense isn't here, then there's no need to, there's no I feel like the neediness is gone. It's just what it is. It's just what's happening. I mean, I guess expectations can arise, but it wouldn't be owned by anyone. So I can expect someone to clean the bathroom, but maybe there's a lightness, like it wouldn't really matter. It's just what's happening. And yeah, if someone expected stuff from me, then it wouldn't really stick to someone. So there would be a lightness. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Question here. What does, this is from Yoshi from Nothing Media. What does it feel like to be free?
It feels pretty amazing for no one. So no one's going to be here to experience this amazingness. So it's nothing. And this sense of joy, sense of lightness, but it's pretty remarkable to see how everything still arises for no one. So the body can be in pain, and like I said before, like fear can arise. Before this meeting, there was a lot of nervousness, but for no one. Yeah, there's just a lightness. It's all kind of playful.
Is this your first meeting?
Yeah, first Q&A.
Oh, great. Great. Wow, beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm not sure who's first, but I'll pick Freedom. Freedom, go ahead, please.
Hey, hello.
Hi.
It feels like a lifelong marathon is coming to an end, which I didn't sign up for, and I didn't even run it. It's kind of silly and beautiful, and yeah, freeing, and yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I have no questions anymore, but I just wanted to share something.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed your YouTube video, so thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's all. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah. Sometimes it can feel like Tim was saying, kind of like a real joke. Like I did all of that running, like you said, like a marathon. And then it never happened. It really feels like it never happened. But it felt so real. And now it's just like this kind of unbelievable story for no one that never existed but felt like they existed. Yeah, it's amazing.
Rosa.
Hi, Rosa.
Hey, hello everybody. Hey Sue.
Hi.
Just wanna tell you, beautiful. I love your energy. I
Oh,
love your calmness, your stillness, and I'm really very, very touched by your videos.
oh, thank you.
Just
I've
want to say
seen you.
hi and
Oh, thanks. I've
Thanks.
seen you with Luciana and Lubo.
okay.
I enjoyed, yeah, watching you.
I love you. Enjoy the show.
I love you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hello, Brendan.
Hi, Suzanne.
Hi.
I love the question that Michael asked you. And there's a thing about this process that I've messaged Michael. He might not have received it because I can't remember what the question was, but I loved it. I just love the question. I don't know how I get the question because I can't remember, but I just loved it. But whilst I'm waiting to see whether Michael would be prepared to ask the question again, in terms of whatever you call it, collapse, liberation, which is unknowable. Could there be a smile of recognition?
By no one. Sometimes it can feel like a celebration, but by no one.
And could that be described, that celebration, or maybe smile of recognition, as a knowing in no one?
A knowing in no one. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Maybe I would more say like a realization by no one.
Okay.
Yeah, like yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I would call it a knowing, because no one, it's everything is so utterly, completely unknown. And there is this recognition by no one that the whole thing was a dream.
I suppose what I'm exploring is that I know it's unknowable, so to speak.
Mm.
And when it all drops away, I think it sort of relates to what Michael was asking, maybe, is that you say a celebration. I said a smile of recognition. But there's something, but there wasn't anything there, but it's like when I've had a glimpse, there's something there. Well, I'm not there, but there's something there that recognizes something.
Recognizes the absence of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a mystical knowing. There's a sort of almost a mystical knowing about that.
Yeah, like a mysterious. Yeah, again, I wouldn't use the word knowing.
It's a word, yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes even when the me has a glimpse, it's so quickly, well, not necessarily, it could be a really long glimpse. And you can't know for sure if the me wasn't really there, just like enjoying that. And then after, that's all just a happening that can't really be described, but the me claims that glimpse, and then it becomes like something that it could put in his pocket in its timeline. Um, yeah, I wouldn't call it a knowing. Oh, yeah, recognition by no one.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Hi, Mike.
Hello.
Hi.
I was thinking about that question, and it was convoluted. It's really an Ouroboros type question. I think maybe I'll remove the middle part. Can anything be known or understood about this most peculiar condition from within the condition itself when the attempt to speak of it becomes part of the condition?
Mm. You're kind of talking about like speakers.
No, the human condition, this objectified overlay, the consensus conceptual overlay that the mind brain creates in the naming of things, that it seems here to be confined to and defined by its own parameters, which is the naming of things, and things exist only in the naming of them. So back to the original question, can anything be said about it from within the condition itself? When
within the dream?
Yeah, for lack of a better word. I think dream is as close as we can come with as an analogy to this objectified overlay. But it seems here that anything said about it from within can only add to the apparent relevance of it. And even saying nothing doesn't help. It's a heck of a problem that doesn't actually exist. I don't know if that clears up anything or not. I know it's certainly, maybe I don't know. One thing I would like to ask you, though, is did you experience a personal catharsis or an Armageddon type event in which this...
Wait, can I touch upon what you first said?
Of course.
Oh man, what did you say? Wait. No, I have it. So yeah. So the me can't know what liberation is like because it is the absence of the me energy. So yes, it can't really say anything definitively because it doesn't really know what it's like when what it's like without itself. But the attempt to try and understand and try and get this, and it's never going to get anywhere, but that's beautiful. That's just this, and it'll keep trying, keep doing, keep trying to explain it and know it. It might not feel fun for the me, but
I hate to take up too much time, but did you personally experience a catharsis that involved this primal shift in perspective, or was it a gradual process over time?
In the parent timeline, that really never happened.
Mhm.
I can't even say it took a long time. Like, where do I start and begin? I mean, the seeking, the hardcore spiritual seeking was, I would say 8 to 9 years. But when I first heard this message, when I first heard this message, like apparently like 4-ish months of a whole bunch of stuff, like really like the me felt so dreadful for all of the seeking it had done, and that everything it was hoping to do in the future because of all of that spiritual seeking, like it had seemingly gained a lot of spiritual knowledge and was good at certain things, you know, meditating and all of that. So it was a real bummer for the me, and the me felt so reluctant to let this message in at first, was really just like a little bit in denial and wanted to get away from it. Yeah, it seemed a bit like a mourning process, and then it was seen by no one that this message couldn't be escaped. Like there was no one here, but like I couldn't stop listening to it. I couldn't like get away from it. And sometimes I would really try and like forget, but it wouldn't leave me alone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Magic.
Hi, Magic.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, good to see you here.
Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, so I've got a question about, so basically after apparent shift, you would say that everything goes the same way as before, but would you agree that content of your thoughts changed? So they are less, or maybe they're non-projections about the possible futures and stuff like that, because you mentioned about fear, that fear can arise, but I know there is no differences, but there you can, relatively speaking, distinguish between fear made by, for example, something happened now, let's say there is a tiger in a room and I'm afraid, or you can be afraid of something that might happen in the possible future, and then you can feel fear can arise because of those old fantasies and imagination that you might have. So I'm just guessing that the real fear about real situation might arise, but not necessarily the imagined fear. Yes.
Yeah. Like imagination of future projections and stuff. Ooh, that doesn't really happen here. I can.
Most of people around the whole world, most of the time when they experience fear is more psychological, not the real actually fear, is more self-created kind of.
Yeah.
So you don't experience that, I believe, yes?
I can't say that I do right now, but anything can arise. I'm sure, like, I don't know, let's say I there was an event with 100 people, even though there's no one here, and there's a recognition that there's no one in any body, there could still be a lot of like nervousness and fear, and thoughts can go to the future and fear can arise, but it's for no one, and it doesn't have a gravity.
I understand. Yeah. So today, when you were nervous before the Q&A today, did you project what might happen, what you might say and stuff like? Did you had those thoughts in your head?
I mean, thoughts arose like, oh
Okay,
man, I gotta fuck this up.
So the thoughts are
But
there, but there's no gravity and no stickiness to them.
yeah.
So you don't take them personally, even though they are somewhere in the background. They might be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everything kind of does feel like play. Like it's there. Fear can be there, but it's also like not such a big deal because it's not happening to anyone. This is just an appearance.
Yeah, I get it. Just I wanted to compare because today I was nervous before our meeting, and I kind of was watching my own thoughts and kind of how I reacting to this. Why am I keep thinking about like what I'm gonna say and stuff like that, you know? So now I can kind of relate to what you were saying before.
Yeah. And I kind of have a sense, I mean, I can't say anything for sure, but like after the apparent shift that really never happened, like nothing happened. Oh man, what was I gonna say? There can be remnants of things coming up, so things can still have somewhat of a gravity, because I mean every apparent person is so different, so I can't say anything for sure. But if no one here reflects, then I can say that there were remnants of things that still arose, that still had a little bit of gravity, but
they're like lingering kind of, you know, but they are kind of fade away in time, apparent time. They fade away more and more.
Apparently.
Apparently,
but there's not really a holding on to any of that. It's just what's happening. So yeah, this is like a report, but like everything's just happening and what it is. So even that is meaningless in a way. And so even if things were still heavy, it wouldn't really matter because no one's here.
Yeah, the thing is that you see, like I think most of the people, like including me, very often we're beating ourselves for thoughts we have. Let's, I shouldn't think this, I shouldn't think that, and we put like layer on the top of the layer, and we like multiply it, and we kind of over exaggerate many different situations because of I shouldn't think that, we shouldn't think that. But thinking happens, and that's okay, unless you carry on complaining about what's happening in your head, you know. You don't complain anymore, and this is the difference.
Even complaining is completely fine. That's perfection. Yeah, in a way, the me can't help but do that kind of stuff, and it's all just happening for no one.
Because whatever happened, it happens anyway. So
it's all just this mysterious unknown, thinking arising for no one. It's amazing.
Certainly it is. I love your videos, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for showing up.
See you later.
Thank you. Hi, David.
Hi, Suzanne.
How are you?
It's so good to be with you. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. That one beautiful phrase that seems to capture everything that can be said from this point, and that is nothing sticks. And that says it all. That's the only thing that can be said about what's arising and what didn't arise and how it arose and how it fell away. And, it's just nothing sticks. And out of that, there's no question arising at all about, so you don't swat your arm until the mosquito is on it. If the mosquito didn't land, you would never swat your arm, So nothing sticks. And that's been the sum total of my life for the last 10, 12 years, nothing sticks. I love those questions from Michael as well, because when nothing sticks, there's no knowing at all. You got to grab onto it to have a knowing. So, what the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful to be with you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing, David.
Gillian. Gillian?
Yes. Hi, Suzanne. Nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you too.
I've seen your videos too. It's since a few months, I think, that you make videos. What I want to ask you is, at the beginning, was it very intense, wow, and then diminished a bit to be more regular for you?
It was more like, it felt apparently that near the end, since the apparent glimpses were just getting longer, so then it was like, wow, like everything was so immediate, and there was no veil, there was no experiencer, it was just pure what it was.
Yeah.
So it was like, wow. But then there were still moments where the me would claim it, but then that subtly seemed to apparently disappear. I don't know. But yeah, there was no one that cared whether it happened or not. So even the me energy was just like, it just seemed very ethereal too. Like it was just like there, it's also just what's happening. And then there seemed to be this void period. I call it void, but it was just emptiness. It was a little worrisome. And this doesn't happen to everyone, but it just apparently happened here. And there was worry. There was worry by no one that and some questions of like, is this it? And a little bit of like, the me did not want this, did not know this, did not know what it wanted or what it would be like. And it was a little bit of a shock. The emptiness of everything was shocking, because the overall gravity of the me, not in a negative way, was so, it wasn't full in this sense, but it had some sort of weight to it. And then in the void or the emptiness, then it was such a huge contrast, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the fullness, like empty fullness, the vibrancy was there. And then the recognition by no one that, oh, I'm home. this is home and no one has left home. This has always been home.
And you not take in the drama by the event of life anymore, like other people that you're
I would say so. But anything can arise. So I haven't spent an extended amount of time with my apparent parents. Like I spent some time, but who knows? Because agitation, anger still arises, frustration, everything arises, sadness, everything arises. It doesn't linger so long, though it is kind of intense compared to the filter of the me who took ownership of the sadness and tried to analyze the sadness and make a story out of the sadness. And there was some sort of barrier, it seemed, but now it's just sadness, nothing sadnessing. So it does seem to not stick, just comes and then.
okay, because when the message hit me, like, wow, never existed, you know, it was so intense and everything was so vibrant, and then it's like, I know there ain't anybody now. It's like a knowing. It's like okay, well, nobody does anything, you know, the sentences come, but it's not as vibrant as it was at the beginning. It's like I've been sucked again, and even though it's a story, it looks like this. Maybe there's nothing to do anyway. Nobody does anything.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's just what's happening. That's home.
Yeah.
That's chaotic perfection. It's just what's happening for no one.
I prefer the party at the beginning. Oh, thank you, Suzanne.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
long.
preferences still arise too. So there's a preference for joy or preference for laughter. Not so much preference for pain in the body, but that also isn't a heavy. It isn't heavy. It's just a preference. Like I'd rather have coffee or something like that. So that continues, and
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Natasha.
Hi, Susan.
Hi.
Hi. So I have to give the credit to you because the day I listened to one of your YouTube videos, that night I had an earth-shattering, I would say. It wasn't a bliss or anything, but like it was like the ground under me shook in a way when I realized that this me is a humbug. It doesn't exist. I mean, and I had a very, like, the night was filled with so much of terror. I don't know how to explain that. But prior to coming to this realization that me doesn't exist, I was doing all sorts of practices and everything, even following a teacher. And still, like, they still kind of push the idea that, you know, there's a me, there's a bigger me, I mean, bigger awareness that is encompassing everything. But as I was doing those practices, something was telling in me, this is not, it doesn't quite sound true. It's not true. What is this? I mean, I'm doing these practices, I'm abiding as the, you know, the all awareness and everything. But issues with my family members are still coming up. And they were even right, like, this time the issues, I used to be angry and everything, abusive family members and narcissistic family members. But this time I was having, even with all these practices, I was feeling that the intensity of those feelings were like even becoming more and more, like I couldn't appease them. So I was thinking, I'm doing these practices, yet these issues are becoming even more intensified. So what is this? Why is this happening? And then there was this there was a little voice inside of me that was saying that there's something wrong in this awareness thing. This me doesn't quite go away. This me continues as the bigger awareness. So there's something wrong in this. And I heard sometimes back, Raman Maharshi, he said that you have to drop the I, drop even the awareness, you have to drop that. So at that time, I wasn't really ready for it. It was like a shock. I didn't go there. And then as I was going through, I went through, I listened to your YouTube, and in one of that, in there, you said that the awareness doesn't exist. And I'm telling you, it was like a click, I mean, just, okay, that's it. Something in me knew that doesn't exist. What was that? Like when it kind of came in alignment with what you said, and the realization just happened. And to tell you the truth, I had that horrible night experience and everything. The next day, I felt so light. I mean, so peaceful, because all the problems and all the issues that I was having with the family members all dropped away. All dropped away. And nothing is sticking, nothing sticks. And as I was walking, I was doing the grocery store shopping, going through the grocery and picking stuff up. I was looking at people, and maybe I didn't like somebody or whatever. But then there was this voice inside of me that said, you don't like it, who are you? You don't even exist. So this one now keeps on going. You don't exist, you don't exist, you don't exist, you don't exist. It's like a loop. It doesn't want to let up, just it's happening all the time. So that's it then. I mean, I don't feel the huge bliss or everything people explain about enlightenment, but this is it. It's so ordinary. I have come then, I've arrived then. It just feels so, it is so funny. Oh my goodness, all these years.
There's no you that arrived anywhere. You don't exist.
Yeah.
It's always just this.
Yeah, all these people seriously doing practices. Look at their faces. Oh my God. Oh, all the spiritual business and everything. I mean, for what? Oh my God. I'm just so, I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't exist, so I don't know. Oh, but it feels extremely light. Ah. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
There's a question here from YouTube. What about creation? What are we doing in it? Does it have a purpose?
Who knows? Who knows what this is? There's no one here to know or to have an explanation or to understand, to know what's going on.
Question here. Are smaller meditation advised to establish stillness in daily life?
Huh?
Our smaller meditations, where is it now? I lost the question, sorry. Are smaller meditations advised to establish stillness in daily life?
I mean, if that's what's happening, that's just what's happening. It's not right or wrong. So meditation can apparently calm the body and the apparent mind that doesn't really exist. But there's nothing right or wrong with it. It won't get you to already this. This is already what is. This is already perfection. This is already wholeness. So any practice you do won't get you closer or further away from this. And but there's nothing right or wrong with it. This isn't really saying, this doesn't really have an opinion on meditation or like eating vegan or fasting or doing yoga or reading scriptures. If that's what's happening, that's just what's happening for no one, and there's nothing right or wrong with it. This is already home, so you can't escape this, and there's no you to go anywhere.
Well, thank you so much, Susan. Thank you so much, everyone. That's it.
Oh, it's 4. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, cool.
There is a breakout room at the end. If you guys want to go to Suzanne's YouTube channel, Suzanne Non-Duality, I'll put a link on the video. And everybody can unmute yourself and say bye, Susan. Thank you. You can stay for the breakout room if you guys want. If not, we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Love you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Suzanne.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Hello, Suzanne. Wonderful. You are really, truly wonderful.
Oh,